Okay, got your headshot. Good.
It is Wednesday night. It is the Metal Summit. It is your midway through the week. The beginning part of the week sucked. The rest of the week's going to be great. And that's because you are here right now, the only place you want to be, your collection of the Island of Misfit Toys. We have Psycho Steve. We have Bobby Dreyer. We have Angel Alamo. We have Jason Perswig. I'm Jay. But the fact of the matter is, what it really comes down to is the man that we have joining us tonight. And that is the man, Mr. Rick Ruhl, every mother's nightmare. Thank you so much for joining us, brother.
How you doing? Good morning, congregation. How are we doing this morning?
We're doing great, man. We are doing excellent. It is Wednesday night. It is that midway point of the week, but the fact of the matter is it is all things metal, and that's where we come in, man.
Yeah. Hump day, right?
Yeah, you got it, man. So let's do a little bit of a collective G-rated humping as we talk about metal and all that kind of goodness for you. But let's start everything off with you, man. First and foremost, some congratulations are in order because you have something cool coming out in 2 days.
Yep.
I do. I got a new record, Resurrect the Faithful, coming out Friday, I believe, and I can't wait, man. It's a beautiful thing. Been waiting a long time for it.
Absolutely, man. We'll talk a little bit about you putting together the record. Were you able to start the record like before COVID, or was COVID one of the catalysts for really getting the gears grinding?
Actually, it kind of lucked out. We were actually almost 3/4 of the way finished recording when it all hit. So it kind of fell. The only thing we really had to do, we were sitting and waiting anyway. So we just got the mix. We were waiting on mixing and mastering. So we were just passing files back and forth to each other. So it kind of worked out good, because now that it's kind of letting up a little bit, it looks like, we're done with everything. So we're on top of the ball for once, so it's been good. I like it.
Absolutely, for sure, man. When at the time of COVID and everything like happening, you were putting the finishing touches like on the album. Did you have shows and were you active at that time right before shutdown, or were you guys just kind of in chill mode concentrating on the record?
Oh man, we lost 6 shows overseas. We lost just a bunch of stuff got postponed and put back, and we were active. We just got off the road and we just worked in a new drummer, Alan Bone, and we just showed him about 4,000 songs in a week just to get him up to par, and then we went out for a couple of shows and then threw a record on top of him. So we were real active, man. We've been running on the grind record for pretty much 3 years, and that's kind of unheard of these days, but it just kept we just kept churning along. We just kept following it around. So we just kept playing until it was time for another record.
Absolutely, man, for sure. And then, like, as a final question, like for me, right quick before I kick it over to the guys for the next round, talk a little bit about the title of the album, like Resurrect the Faithful. It's kind of like an interesting sounding title, especially coming off, a title like Grind and stuff like that. So talk a little bit about your thought process behind where this title came from.
And there's a lot of rockers still out there, and there's a lot of I guess just rockers, just people like music in general. Back when I grew up, you had to go dig around for Van Halen records and stuff that were cool. You had to go find it. There was no internet. There was no nothing. So the song was really beating me up. It was probably one of the last things I'd done. And I was just fighting with it in the studio. I don't write nothing down. So I just kind of go in the studio, open and spit it out. Whatever comes out happens. And it was beating me up, and I went home. And I was just sitting in the kitchen cooking me and my kids something to eat, and I said, "Resurrect the faithful, resurrect the," and I was like, "Hey!" And I called the studio back. I said, "I'll be down there in 10 minutes. Give me a couple passes. If it's cool, or if it's on par, or if it's shit, whatever, so be it." So I did a couple passes, and we finished it that night. And that's the whole thinking process. Was there's all kind of people out there that still love rock and roll music, still love music in general. And that's just all I was thinking about was, good music is good music. And that's what it is. No more, no less.
Absolutely, brother. No problem with that at all. We are all rockers. We are definitely all about that. And We are absolutely not going anywhere. And speaking of people who aren't going anywhere, Mr. Psycho Steve, let's kick it to you on that.
Thank you. Welcome, Mr. Rick. Big fan, long time following too as well. Seen you several times in concert from back in the glory days.
Back in the glory days.
Exactly. So the question is, from being a fan perspective, I don't know if anyone knows, but how did the name Every Mother's Nightmare come to be the name?
Well, I was sitting, my old manager, Doc Fields, we were sitting in Nashville, and we had our first show booked, and we didn't have a name, and we were playing at a little place called Sal's down in Nashville, and so he just said, man, y'all are Every Mother's Nightmare, and so that night we just said, we're going to use it this weekend, and we'll come up with something better down the line or whatever, and it just stuck, so it's been here for a while, so I think we're going to use it.
Right on.
It was just like I said, he just threw it out there, and we said, yeah, that'll work this weekend. Here we are.
Great name. And it's fitting.
I wish I could say there was more thought to it than that, but
No. If the shoe fits, wear it, rock it.
Absolutely, for sure, man. Psycho, why don't you keep rolling with it, my dude?
Okay. So you've done everything from, because you are a Southern boy, we definitely hear the Southern, twang in your voice and everything like that. Did you ever think of considering doing anything but rock metal, like country? Because, some rock and metal artists, Bon Jovi, has crossed over doing, country music. Same with Ron Keel and many other metal and rock artists. Have you ever considered doing some country music as well?
Man, I've wrote country songs. I've wrote all the way up kind of bluegrass songs. I just like music, man. I write just about anything, but I'm a rocker, man. Alice Cooper's my hero. I'm just a rocker, this everything that I write or comes out of me is nothing that preconceived or nothing like that. It's just what's in me. It's just it's just me bitching about what's happened in the last couple of years to me as songs go by. So I'm up for anything, though. If somebody gave me the right opportunity, I might go in there and throw out a good old country wanger.
Nice.
That's awesome. For sure. Oh yeah. Hey Bobby, let's kick it over to you, dude.
Good. So here's a couple cool things. I've been looking around, and I noticed that you were on a television show, you said, in the 90s, which was the Joan Rivers show. Now, a good friend of mine at that time was the band leader, and Mr. Mark Hudson, who produced Living on the Edge, worked with Ozzy, worked with everything. How did you wind up getting onto Joan Rivers?
Oh man, I think they heard about the after show parties is how it all came about. They heard about the things on the bus, and whether some of it was true or some of it wasn't, who knows. But we used to have some pretty neat contests on the bus, and somebody called us and wanted to talk about just the backside of rock and roll or the after show of rock and roll or whatever. So it was just a bunch of I don't know. I ain't gonna say it's all wasn't true, but like 90% was. So
it's all rock and roll. Very cool. So did that help you? Well, everything helps back then. Gosh. But did it
help with my relationship at the time? My relationship it pretty much smothered, but other than that, it was a help.
Very cool. Because you were signed on Arista Records at the time, correct?
Yes, sir. Mr. Clive Davis, he came down and signed us in Memphis, Tennessee. That was a high point in my life. Just getting to meet a cat of that. He's had his hands on everything. So it was a pretty special moment. I wish I could have backed it up more with having an experience and knowing what I was doing back then. But that's me. I'm ass backwards. I jump in feet first and then try to figure out what I'm doing as I go. So
how many albums did you do on Arista? I'm just gonna,
We did 2 Arista records, and we did a 20,000 song EP giveaway thing. It was short lived, Like I said, we were learning, and we weren't ready for a record deal yet. There was back at that point you had to have this or this to get a record deal, and you had to do certain things to get a record deal, and that's all we knew we wanted was a record deal. We didn't think about the consequences of knowing what to do with the record deal after we had it. Yeah. We're more smarter these days, I think, so we're working on it.
Age helps.
Right.
Angel, your turn, brother.
I think we kick it to Angel. Yes.
We got a lot of wonderful fans. Just want to thank everybody for tuning in. Matt Porter, Richard Jason, thank you for joining. Sherry Williams, Anna, Debbie, Lennon, Jimmy Hobby, Scott, Richard. Just want to thank all you guys for tuning in, and feel free to hit us up with any questions you guys may have. I have a question. Can you tell us about the new record? As far as the musical direction that you was going, you mentioned that you definitely went heavier with this album, as we can see from the first single, "Brief." What can fans expect on Friday when they're able to get their hands on the album?
Man, I just got I didn't want to go at when we first started even talking about writing. I wanted to do every aspect of it, the attack of it, coming into it, as far as there's little things like coming into songs, punches, everything. I just wanted to come at it at a different angle. I wanted to come at it with not rehashing anything that we've done, and I didn't want to come at it with any kind of musical. I didn't want it to be heavy metal or this or whatever. It's just I just call it just good old from the gut rock and roll, straightforward rock and roll. And I feel like all the stuff that I grew up with, everybody grows up listening to their things, everything from Priest to Halen, Kiss, whatever, and you can hear parts of it in there. And I think that's what you got to do. Songwriting, you take the parts that you hear from your heroes and you turn them and make things into your own. And this whole record is just like I said, we just came in. It had to be different. It had to be big. It had to be good. The songs had to be good. And just took it as here it is. Take it for better. If you like it, great. If you don't like it, great. But it's just a true, straight up rock and roll. And you can hear it. The songs, we put a lot of thought, a lot of fights. We went 5 days without talking on this one song. We were just, but that's the way. I think that's the way the things come out. You got to have the chemistry in the band's kick. It rocks. It's a beautiful thing having 5 guys that are in tune with everything, and the song is the only thing that matters. And that, that's it. That's the way we came at this whole thing, is the song's got to stand on its own, and then everything else will come when you get that accomplished. And I'm hoping we did that. I've never, since I was signed with Clive Davis, I've never had 9 weeks in a studio. Bill Chavis called me and said, "I booked you 9 weeks down here in the studio, down the road from your house." With Dave Cal and Matt Montgomery, and I was like, sweet, so the whole record is just it's just straightforward, and it's big, and it's got lots of big old swoopy choruses in it, and it's just got a lot of stories to tell, and a lot of it happens to me or somebody real close to me, so it's all pretty close to home hidden. If
Cool.
That makes any sense.
Yep, it makes a lot of sense. And speaking of the new album, Sherry Williams has a question about the new record. She wants to know, is there any particular song on the new album that tugs at your heart strings more than the others?
Yeah, there's one there's a song called "When It Goes Away," and it's pretty much it's a tearjerker for me. It's kind of about real close to inside my house. So yeah, when it goes away is probably it. And I don't like giving away exactly what the song's about because I like for people to get their own idea. Maybe they can press it into something that's going on with them or whatever. But that song's probably the closest to me. It makes me tear up when we play it live. Yeah, when I came out of the studio after I cut the track, everybody was sitting in the studio. They wasn't really looking up at me, and I just opened the studio door and looked in there and said, "That's what's going on at my house. Thank you. Bye."
Wow. So we also got Zachary wants low. Thank you for watching. Wants to know. You mentioned that Alex Cooper was an influence. What song hooked you? Was it the music or the stage show that made you a fan of Alex Cooper?
Well, my mom, when I was 7 years old, took me to see Welcome to My Nightmare Tour. And that was a cool present from her because I didn't really know what was going on. But I knew after that day, after I saw that show, I took that home and learned every squeak, note, scratch, everything on it. And, it just kind of changed my whole life to seeing that kind of a stage show and that kind of a presence, that just did it, and that's the way, bands were back in the day. They were bigger in life and just over the top and it's beautiful. And my mom did that for me, and I'll thank her every day of my life for turning me on to that. But they were cool like that. They turned me on to everything from Elvin Bishop all the way up to Marshall Tucker to Cooper to ELO to everything. So I went to a lot of concerts when I was young, and God, it smelled funny in there, but it was sure good,
Amanda Harbuff, sorry if I mispronounced it. She asked a question about your live shows. How do you pick what songs make the set list for the show? Obviously, there's the hits and the new stuff, but how do you pick the other songs?
Mostly, all the songs in the set list are pretty much like I don't know. It's like a little a story. They all kind of weave and go together, even though they're from different things. They all kind of weave and go together with each other. So, a lot of times we'll hear, people will be hollering or asking for us to play stuff, and we're all the time listening because, anybody in this business thinks that it's not about the fans out there is insane. But that's what we keep in tune with more than anything. And if we can't do it live, I'll go take you backstage and I'll play it for you by myself. Whatever. Yeah, but, it's just we try to do all the songs that we have to do. Love, Long Hair, Walls. They're pretty much, I have to do those forever. So we try to keep making them fresh, try to keep working them a little bit and changing them up. And the rest, the new songs on the record, when I used to go see bands, when they were supporting a record, they would come out and play the record. Then they would play their hits that they had to play with it. And that's what I'm trying to do. I like being known for what I'm doing instead of what I've done. And I want to just keep, pushing the boundaries of music a little bit and trying to do my little thing that I do until I die, and then I'll be happy corpse,
Absolutely, man.
Mike, he has a question. He wants to know, does it bother you that Memphis radio stations do not support local bands such as yourselves, Tora or Roxy Blue by putting your music in regular rotation?
No, that's just a thing here, man. It's it's just the way it is. We got there's a whole big world out there, so that's cool. They'll support it one way or another. Sooner or later, we make enough noise where they have to, or we just bother them enough where sooner or later they'll play it. It don't bother me none because there's a big old world out there that is playing it, and there's a lot of fans out there that want to hear it, and I'll just go where they are.
Awesome.
Absolutely, man. 100%. Let's bring in that beautiful one. Hey, Jason, we haven't heard from you yet.
So Rick, when did you, or how did it come about that when you realized this is the direction you want to go in life, this is what you want to do as your career, and by doing that, did you have full support from your family?
Far as full support of my family, yes. Like I said, my mom took me to see my first big concert was the Alice Cooper show.
Mhm.
But my uncle Jackie worked for Charlie Daniels for 29 years. He started out as a grunt and ended up, before he died, he was his tour manager. So, man, I just kind of always knew after that Alice Cooper thing, I just always wanted to do this. You know, I've raced motorcycles and I used to do that on the side, and I've done a bunch of crazy things. But this always where my heart's at. You know, if I don't write something or do this right here, the people that my people I live with and the people that are close to me hate me and they want me to leave. So it makes me very ornery when I don't write or do this. But no, I just love it, man. I love if I can write one thing that helps one person through any kind of a situation, man. That's a beautiful day in my book, and for just it's very. I don't even know how to explain it, but for somebody to take the time to spend their hard-earned money just to buy a song that I've written or come see me play, very gratifying to me and very humbling, I guess. I don't know how to say it, but that's, I just always wanted to do that. From the first time I met somebody back in my very first days of playing, that come up and said, this song really got me through my divorce, or this, that, that was it for me. It's just I don't know, it's just a feeling when you write and when you get something coming together, and especially when you get with a group of guys, when you can see the light bulb in everybody's head pop up and go, I got it, I see where he's at. And it's just beautiful, man. And I don't know how to explain it other than that. It's this is what I was meant to do. This and mow grass.
That's really cool. It's interesting because I never heard anybody explain it that way, where for somebody to spend their hard-earned money on something that you wrote to go out and buy it is definitely a compliment, and I've never heard anybody explain it that way before, and that's really cool. That's really awesome.
Well, it's a good feeling, to see somebody come out and see you play, just to see anybody, especially in this day and age, just somebody to even show up in front of the stage is, that's thumbs up. And that's why, the first thing we do every night when we get done is we go back to the merch booth and we try to meet everybody that comes in the building, just because of that fact. I play in a band, so I've been broke more than once. I've been peanut butter hungry. So that right there is my, that's just, I don't even know how to explain it. I'm sorry, but I'll babble about this for an hour, but I just love it. It's a good thing. It's a good for your soul.
Absolutely, for sure. And we can also appreciate that along on this show, especially with everything that we've been involved in with music and stuff like that. But also, bringing Angel back into it, since he's kind of the catalyst of this. I mean, we take our fans, the people that take time out of their evening to tune in for a little while to watch us just kind of doing our thing.
Yeah. I'll tell y'all a story if you don't care if I tell it.
Tell it.
Go ahead.
Tell it, baby.
We got we were doing this show in Texas, man, and this right here struck me really hard. This kind of what brought on the thing for the I don't know. I'll just tell you anyway. We were doing this show in Texas, and this kid was there, and he stood around all day and hung out until the end of the night. And he had been overseas. He'd been over in the war, and he'd seen shit. He got hit. He'd lost a leg, and when I looked him in his face, when I looked at him in his eye, man, I could tell that he'd seen the real deal, and he'd been over and he'd seen, the real deal. And all he wanted me to do, he hung out all day, and he'd got all the anything we had to sell, but all he wanted me to do all day was sign his leg. And I thought that was, that just blew me away, and that really changed my whole thinking process on a lot of stuff. Like, that's why I wrote that. There's a song on the record called "Here's to the Ones," and I've been listening to country music a lot because I weld during the day sometimes when I'm not on the road. I get to weld metal together, and that's pretty neat. But you know, every song I heard was about some, the guys that didn't make it home, and this and that. And then I started, after I met this kid, I just started looking into it, and these guys go over there and defend our back, watch out so we can do all this good stuff that we get to do. And I wrote this song to them guys, for the ones that came home, because they come home, they have a hard time. This kind of gets me choked up sometimes, but this kid stood around all day and was just the coolest dude, and he just wanted me to sign his leg, and that really just floored me on the whole deal of songs and what songs mean, and touching people. And we call him Mighty Mike, and when you hear the song, you'll hear me talk about Mighty Mike, because it's a beautiful thing. I'm sorry, I had to tell that story.
No, it's awesome. We love storytelling. That's a cool part of our show.
We love it, man, for sure. Absolutely. So Rick, one of the things that I think is kind of cool that I wanted to bring up about like every mother's nightmare currently is, I mean, this year, the aforementioned 2020 is also the 30-year anniversary from the release of your first album. But the one thing before we kind of because later we'll get into more like the back catalog stuff, but the thing that I kind of wanted to focus on for this question is like the last like 10 years, because you guys have been totally like plugging away, really grinding, which is what made your last album title make so much sense. But what also was it about lately Every Mother's Nightmare being referred to regularly as EMN as opposed to like Every Mother's Nightmare? And even a lot of the post promo photos, the album covers say EMN as opposed to Every Mother's Nightmare. Have you been kind of looking into like a rebranding or a different kind of style in more recent time? Talk a little bit about that.
Well, usually what happened is the name was kind of long and just spit it out. All through my career as I've been doing this, is most anybody we know just always called us EMN. EMN's coming tonight, EMN, whatever. So, we're always going to keep the long version, but we just started, just kind of making a little EMN brand. It's kind of cool. Bill got Bill Chavis from the label got a tattoo of it on him. So
nice.
It wasn't really no big thought conscious in it. Just that's just kind of what people were saying, and everywhere we've been, there's been EMN. So we're just kind of growing up and coming up into the, what do you call it, the new world is what we call it.
For sure. No, that's totally cool, man, because I mean, it's going to be Every Mother's Nightmare forever. Ever and ever. So but that was just something that I had started. I had just noticed from the release of Grind, from the EP version to the LP version, and then to, of course, like Resurrect the Faithful and stuff like that. The various press photos and just stuff like that come out. So I was just I was kind of curious if while knowing, of course, it's still going to be Every Mother's Nightmare, if you were concentrating a little bit on a rebranding of sorts. But that definitely makes sense that it was already being spoken in shorthand.
Yeah. I mean, if you look back at the covers as we go along, there's there's definitely a transitional stage where it started, there started being a little EMN, and then before it was here, and now it's here, and I think Bill's done made it into a big stamp or something. Man, we're just trying to keep on chugging along, do what we do.
Absolutely, man. 100%. Let's keep on chugging with Psycho Steve.
So I have a question. Speaking of the past, I go back to the past because, like I said, I saw you back in the day. From being a hard rock band, going on tour with Dream Theater of all bands, how did that come about? And did the label put it together, or were you guys friends with each other, or how did it come about?
I think that was more of a label experience. I know that one thing that was going to happen, and we were it was going to all I don't know how to explain it. It was all going to end up in Nashville, in our hometown at that time. So they just kind of put us with those guys, and those guys waxed us every night, you know. But you know, them guys are phenomenal. But we're just you know, we're happy. We'll go play with anybody, you know. So yeah, that was we just got put with those guys, and I would do it. I would do it again. But you know, I think probably one of my favorite things I've ever done was I played with a band called Circus of Power. Went out on the road with them guys, and man, they were awesome. Them dudes were incredible. You know, everybody we've ever been out with is always been very nice, and a couple of people wasn't, but I ain't gonna mention no names on that. But
Oh,
you
come
know,
on.
come on,
You can tell us. We won't say anything.
come on.
Who's watching?
I can't answer no more than that.
It rhymes with.
Well, let me see. Flawless. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Makes sense.
As far as I'm going.
Gotcha. All right. And second part of my question is, how did you hook up with Bill Chavis?
Bill Chavis, I met him. We played at Rocklahoma, the Tornado Tour, the Tornado year, I guess. We played Rocklahoma one year, and a tornado come to and tore everything down. And I'd met him there, and we were trying to work together a long time ago, but he was working with some other bands, so it just never happened. And then I started the Grind thing. When the Grind came out, it was just a 5-song EP that we did ourselves. And we were playing in Houston, Texas, and we run into a friend of ours, Larry Pedro, and he, you know, he's always came to see us, and he's from KNAC, but he come to see us every time we've ever played, and we gave him the you know, the little 5-song thing, and he turned it over to Bill and said, "Man, have you heard what the Nightmares are doing?" And within a week later, you know, me and Bill were back in touch together, because Bill was always real cool to me. We just at the time we were wanting to work together, just wouldn't allow. But he got the 5-song EP, and he called me, and we started talking. And I was just trying to get it put out, you know, just trying to get a little help, you know, whatever I could do on it. And he called me like after he listened to it, like 3 or 4 days later. He goes, "Man, let's just do a whole record." He goes, "You got any more songs?" I got, "Shit, man, I got 200 songs ready. Let's go."
Yeah.
So we just we threw 5 more songs on there and recorded it, and wrote it for 3 years. And you know, I couldn't believe we'd done that. You know, I figured it would be out for 15 minutes and it would be gone, but it just kept. We called it the little record that could. It just chugged and kept going and kept going, and so more power to it. I love it.
Awesome.
Oh yeah. No, that's
Chavis,
super
good
cool.
sport, man. He's a good man. He's got my back on all kind of things. So I love him. He's done a lot for me. So I love him. I kiss him on the jaw every time I see him.
Good
It's
people.
all about the love, man. It's all about looking out for the people that look out for you, man.
Kick your butt too, man. He will get mad. I love him.
He's a big boy. He can handle it.
You know, when we were doing this record, I didn't let him hear one song until we were almost done recording it, and he finally flew down to Memphis, and he was like, "Come on, Ruhl, give me a song, just give me something." And I gave him a live song, I think, of this song we did called "Unstained," and he heard that, but and that's unheard of. You know, anybody that's footing your bill on your record is wanting to hear what you're doing. And I'll just go, "Chavis, man, you just got to trust me." I said, "We're trying to do something a little different, trying to do something, but you got to trust me on it." And he finally flew down to Memphis, and we put him in the studio and set him right in front of the board and cranked it up. And he came out, and his eyes were big. And the next day he had video people there, and we were starting to do stuff on documentary things and all that. So he's a good sport, man. He took a big leap of faith, just trusting me to write a record and record it without him hearing nothing. So, you know, that's why I love him, because he's got my back.
That's awesome, man. When you guys are putting together your next album, you need to record like a Britney Spears cover secretly, so that way you can send that to him. Mr. Dreyer, it's all you, brother.
Can't be any worse than Miley Cyrus doing Metallica, but you know.
Right.
So, Rick, talk about the documentary that got shot while you guys were doing the album. Here's to the Ones.
Man, I was really scared of this thing. Because you know how many documentaries I've watched, and they're ginormously long, and it's a bunch of guys, and these guys playing on them are incredible. I'm not saying anything like that, but you can only watch so much of solos and technical things in the studio. So I was like, man, I would like to do this, but I want to make it. I want to make this documentary of here and now of this band, us five guys doing this record, and some of the insights on the studio and how the songs are written and recorded. And, of course, some of our stupid things that we do is going to bleed through there. And, but I only 30 or 45 minutes because I didn't want an hour and a half sitting here, trying to watch something that long. And I was still like scared to death of it. I was shooting some of the footage for the Breathe video. And on the other side of the studio, the guys were watching the documentary and I hadn't seen it yet. So I was really scared because I could hear my country talk all the way through that, just gapping through there. And but when I thought I was blown away, it was exactly what Bill told me. He goes, man, I've got you. It'll be exactly what you're thinking. And that's all I wanted is, just a little time capsule of here and now with this band. These guys that are playing with me, they deserve this record. They gave up a lot to play on this record. There's not a lot of money coming from me to them right now, so it's a lot of faith and hope and knowing if we do a good record, the way I try to point is that you do a good record, you don't work for 4 or 5 years. You do a bad record, you don't work for 4 months, and then you're back. So
Yeah.
That was it. That's how it all come to be, and that's
Very
it.
cool. So you being from Memphis and the guys there, so a lot of the bands that came out through the 80s, like Lord Tracy, Tora, and it's even funny, well, Skillet, who came out in mid to late 90s. Everybody considered a Christian band, but, Skillet's been doing pretty good. Wow. It seems like you guys have, or do you still have a pretty good thriving metal rock scene in Memphis going on?
Yeah, man, it's still the music scene down here is great. It's just right now, it's just like it's lost somewhere, but it's still there. The last thing when we came off the road, we stopped in here at this little club and played, and I think we had like 1,500 people there, and that's good for Memphis. So the music scene is still going. There's bands still playing. They've got it worked out where you got to play. Most of the things are outdoors right now, and or real early, but it's still chugging along. The music scene's still alive and kicking. It's still good. There's tour still going. Roxy Blue's still here. There's a lot of great bands still down here playing, and there's people down here still doing their thing, writing songs, trying to get deals, trying to do their thing. So yeah, man, it's alive and it's well.
That's great. Yeah, that's awesome to hear.
Yeah, for sure. Angel, how are those Metal Summoners and Every Mother's Nightmares doing?
We got some questions, and we have one story from a fan that is very touching about one of your songs. I'm going to get to the questions first. This question is from Brandon. Already pre-ordered the new album. Do you ever plan on adding more of Wake Up Screaming to the live set list? Wish you play songs like House of Pain, I Hate Myself, and Already Gone.
Yes, they're in the works. We have been rehearsing all that, so that's definitely in the works. And we've got, like I said, when we got Alan in the band, we kind of threw him. We had to throw him the stuff that he really needed to do, and the stuff that we were doing off, the last couple of records. But yeah, we're definitely we're mixing up trying to get a little bit of everything in there, But you only play an hour and a half, so it's hard to get your new record and then all the old records and everything in there. Because, like I said, I'm still trying to sell a new record, but I still want to do all the things that I need to do for the people who come and hear the older songs too. So yes, it's in the works.
Cool.
Does that answer?
Zachary Love. Oh, yeah. Okay, next up we have Zachary Lowe. Sorry for the mispronunciation. He has a question and a story as well. So I'm going to do the question first. With streaming, the music industry evolved. Is there anything in particular that changed that you enjoy more than the old approach?
Man, it's all
Great question.
Yes.
I mean, I love it. If I can get as long as I get it out there and somebody receives it, and the energy that we give, they give back. That's, I mean, I'm good with streaming it, playing it live. I'll write it down on a tablet and send it to you. I mean, just whatever, it's got to happen, you know. I don't know how to answer that, but I love it all. So whatever I got to do to make it happen, it'll happen.
That's a cool answer. Zachary, he has a story. He wants to say, as someone who served 13 years in the military, I truly appreciate that Mighty Mike story. My life changed a lot in that 8 months I was in Afghanistan. Got told my ex wanted a divorce 3 days after getting in the country. You hit the nail on the head about coming home and things being different. Zachary, just want to say thank you for your service and everything you've done for our country.
Yeah, man. Exactly, man. You watching our backs, man. That's a great deal, and we owe a lot more than we think we do. You know, there's a lot of guys out there, man. Like I said, I never, you know, I come from a military family, but I never ever got the insight until I looked that kid in the face, and you know, he had a scar right here, and I know he'd seen the shit, and you know, it really opened my eyes to a lot of things, and you know, I think them guys are underappreciated a bunch, and I love them and I appreciate them. I'll kiss them all on the jaw when I see them.
And we're gonna continue with Zachary. He also has another question. And thank you for watching. By the way, how much freedom do you give everyone else in the studio while recording? What is the line between having your initial vision and allowing someone else to play what they feel?
Man, these guys here, they know my initial vision. When I sit down in the studio, and in our little studio we here at my house, I just tell them where I'm at and where I'm going, and they kind of get that. But their musical abilities and their things that they do, that is them. You know, we went down there and tracked the songs, and you know, Bone, the drums. He came back in and he changed some of the drums, but it was one of the things he did in the song When It Goes Away is he changed the whole drum pattern, but it was genius, you know. So no, these guys, they have 100%, you know, unless it's just something that I just totally hate. That happens, but sometimes it does. No, man, I just let them roll. You know, they got to put their own piece of their soul in it. You know, they know where I'm at and they know what I'm feeling, and you know, we're close enough friends and brothers where they know where I'm at and what I'm feeling, you know, and that's the only way I can explain it is they know, and I know them, and I know that they would never do nothing ignorant or to put anything like that in jeopardy, because this means a lot to me. You know, putting your soul out on a piece of a recording for the whole world to hear. You know, it's you wouldn't think it, but it's, you know, a lot of people hear it, and I had to live with my first record a long time. I didn't know what I was doing when I recorded, so it all falls back to let them do what they do. You know, that's why they're with me. They're good, and they do the thing that they do is what I love. You know, each one of them's got their own different characteristic, and that's what I love about them. That's why we gel. You know, the more power.
I have a question. One of the cool things I noticed on the merchandise is that you're selling the record, but almost like as a bundle package along with a T-shirt or along with something else. Who came up with that idea? Because it seems like a pretty cool way to actually sell a record per se.
Well, man, it just seems like, you know, for a minute there, everything is just so damn expensive, and so this, and so you got to do this. I was like, and it was mainly Bill. He's always calling with ideas, but he just said, man, let's do some bundle packages, put everything in there, and yeah, man, do it. Let's, it's like going to your whatever, like a Lowe's or something. Everything, get bundle packages, get on lower prices, baby. It just seems like, instead of having to buy each and every little product or each and every little thing, just to have a way to get it all at one time. And, what happens if you don't like it, you can sell it on eBay, right?
No, but that's like fucking awesome. I'm like, how come no one else has actually thought of that? Selling the records by the bundles instead of
man,
myself.
Sure. Pair of drawers, everything. It's all good. I am an idiot from Tennessee. You know that, right?
Ah, nonsense.
That's right. You just gave Cycle Steve an idea.
Dude, Rick, nobody that can do music or cut grass would ever be considered an idiot.
Right on.
Jason, it's all you, brother.
It's interesting. They sell bundles of movies, and I don't know why they don't do bundles of music. It's an interesting concept. So my question is, being the musician yourself, has there ever been a time where you were starstruck, or had an opportunity to meet any of your idols or something like that?
Yeah.
That, I'm sure there probably were, but tell us about it.
Well, I tell you what, I had a couple of things where I was very this right here is probably my favorite one. I was recording our second record with Jim Gaines here in Memphis, and he was getting ready to do him and David Lee Roth were getting ready to do a project together, and I grew up listening to Van Halen and David Lee, and from the persona David Lee always put off is David Lee was just wide open and just all the time. But he came and hung out in the studio with us for 3 days. He just sit in the corner and smoked his weed and did his thing. Sorry, I said that maybe, but he just hung out and listened and hung out and was the coolest dude. That just calm, collective cat, listened to stuff we were playing, throw out ideas, just cool as mess, so that was very I was surprised by that because he caught me totally left field, and I'm stupid right now, but the singer for Kicks, man, he was standing in front of our bus when we did one of the sleazy, slimy Sunday things. He was standing outside of our bus, and I was starstruck by, I was standing there like, man, you want somewhere to sit, man? You can come in here in the bus or, do whatever. And just down there, cool cat, and I have met some people that really disappointed the crap out of me, just thinking they were something that they were not. And, so that's about it. I've not got to meet a whole lot of crazy people. I got to talk to Cooper on the phone. He was very, very cool to me. I hope I get to meet a lot more. Billy Gibbons is nothing but a daggone saint. He just treated us like gold. The guys from Cheap Trick treated us like gold. We played with them, and usually when you play with a band of that caliber, you get a piece this big on the stage, and you get like one light, and you maybe get a piece of PA or this and that, and them guys said, "World's yours, boys, take it." So beautiful thing, Good people, but you meet good people and bad people everywhere, don't we?
Yeah.
Absolutely, 100%.
I've tried to change my way. I've tried to become a better person because I was a little hard, coming up doing this. You got to be a you got to have your defense up a little bit doing this business, you know. But you know, I've kind of dropped that a little bit and just, you know, you treat me good, I treat you good. You treat me bad, you get the same back, you know. And that's just that's the way it is, you know. So that's what I'm trying to put my whole company. Everybody that works for us is like the guy that took the pictures on the album. I'd met him on the road and we'd kept in contact, and he just turned out being a friend. And I'm just trying to keep everybody like that on the same term as me and Chavis and me and the band. And sometimes that's a catch-22, but I just want everybody where I can, you know when I'm getting in their butt, I still love them tomorrow, but I am getting in their butt today, you know. And then same with me. There's plenty of times where they call me up and go, "Hey, Ruhl, you need to get it together, man." And I'm like, "I got you. I hear you. I'm doing it." But to answer your question, David Lee's probably the coolest, and just because he caught me off guard, I was expecting him to come in and be just over the top, and he was not. He was very cool. So he's always Van Halen in my book. So.
That's awesome,
man. And I
hated,
you know, Eddie Van Halen was, you know, to me, he changed guitar playing. You know, he was one of those pinnacle dudes that really changed the way you play guitar, the way you look at guitar players. And I really hate that because I really looked up to him a lot of years for his playing ability. I didn't know him as his personal ability, but his playing ability. We went back and listened to all the old stuff the other night.
Yeah.
You know, it was just God. Some of the stuff, you know, you think back as, man, it was heavy, but all that stuff was really clean and it's just good, and the playing is incredible. And you know, that's why I fell in love with music right there. You know, that's it.
Absolutely, no, 100%. We did an episode a couple weeks ago, you know, dedicated to Eddie Van Halen, where we were able to tell stories and experiences and all that kind of stuff. He definitely was one of a kind.
Right on.
Yeah, man. So I got something for you, Rick, that I've been wanting to kind of ask about, because it's just kind of a cool, like, history type thing that you guys have been doing lately. So you've now been with Highball for a little while now. And one of the things that you've been able to do recently is a couple of your records that you put out through Paris, you've been able to reissue and re-release under Highball. Right. So talk a little bit about your ability to get to do that. And are there any plans for you to do the same with your Arista records?
That is you know, that's something that when I got with Bill, he always, that's what he said. He goes, "Man, I'm getting the catalog. I want to get some of this stuff and redo it, you know, and put it out again." And I'm like, yeah, I was always up for it. But the bad thing about most of that stuff in between is that's when music was at a really low there at one time when I was with Paris, you know. Nothing against them, but just music was down, you know, and everything I was doing at the lowest of budget. And, you know, we did one record where we were on the road and we finished all the songs on the road. And then we had 2 weeks. So we went in and recorded, mixed, mastered everything in 2 weeks. You know, it was burnt, you know, our ears were burnt, our bodies were burnt. And so that's the only drawback to doing that, but some of the songs on there are really good. So as far as the first two records, that's definitely Bill is already on that. He's been bracing me for that for a long time, and that's kind of why on the new record, I'm probably not supposed to say this, but on the new record, just for the fans and just for me, living with my first record so long, at the very end we had some time, so we did a new version. We did this band's not a version, this band's interpretation of Love Can Make You Blind the way we do it now. We've updated it a little bit the way we play it live now, and I just kind of wanted to do it for the fans, you know, that have hung out for all these years and have been at show after show after show, and just for me, just wanted a really good version like I said, when we first did our first record, we did 13 shows, and then we were in $1 million studio, and we had this gigantic deal, and we were clueless of what we were doing with it, other than getting out and just being as raucous as we possibly could live on stage. So I did that song when Bill has been working me up for that. So I called Bill. Actually, Alan Bone, the drummer, actually suggested it, and I asked Bill what he thought about it, and he said, "Man, if you want to do it, do it." And I asked the guys in my band. Now I was like, "Do y'all care if we do this?" And they were gracious enough to let me do it, just to rehash it and for my own soul. I've lived with it for a long time, so I just wanted to do a version of it that I wasn't really embarrassed of, or this and that. And I just wanted it to be good, and I did it.
Absolutely, for sure. Oh yeah. Oh hell yeah, dude. And just as like a secondary like little part to this, looking back at those, early records, is there one of those records that in particular you're really stoked to kind of like clean up and re-release out? Like, of course, you've written the songs, often referred to as like your children, and you're going to have these albums out and you're going to be overall happy with the music coming out. But is there one of those albums that you could honestly say like that you really would like to clean up because you're just not happy enough with the original?
Oh yeah, man, I could say probably my first 4.
Really? The whole first 4?
Yeah. The first 2, I would love, now in this day and age, I would love to go in and just for fun, just to go in and record some of them, just to record them again, just to see, just clean it up and do it again, but that's all, I think that's all a part of learning, is you got to live with it. You have to live with it. So, it is what it is, but I'm trying to do better. I'm trying to make it all better. And that's all I can do now.
Absolutely, for sure, man. No, we definitely appreciate it. Before I kick it over to Psycho Steve, I'm just going to take a small little commercial break just to say thank you to some of the sponsors that look out for us and back us and support and endorse us. So we always want to take a special second to say thank you to Bradley Entertainment for working with us. We thank you so much for Saren Cadaver from Twisted Vines Horror Decor out of Rhode Island. Thank you so much to her. We also want to thank our alumni, Mark Hall and Lizzie Borden from Rock and Horror Apparel. So we thank them very, very much as well. And then, of course, Levin Lewis from Levy Metal Enterprises, who does custom guitars, custom stage props. Thank you all so much for being involved with us, looking out for us. We like to look out for you. And thank you so much for being on this journey with us. And as we always say, if there's anybody watching that wants to be involved with us, reach out to any or all of us. We have, we have things in place to discuss what points of interest that we need to look after. And we are absolutely 100% down to be involved with anybody to benefit you guys, to benefit us, and to make this just kind of, a big rock and metal family, to get everybody up onto like that higher level. So thanks again to all those people for sure. And Rick gives his approval as well.
Yes, we do.
Psycho Steve, take it away, brother.
So through the years, of course, some bands break up, get back together, then they have new members, previous members. I noticed with this lineup, of course, is not the original lineup. However, with all the members of the band, present and current, do you still keep in touch with them? Are you on good terms?
Sometimes, me and Jimmy were the original drummer. We were on good terms, and we still are. I still love him. Most of the guys, usually when it comes to the end of the road with me, they're probably just sick of me, period. So they're gone. They don't want me to call them no more. But, I try to, me and Jeff Carn and Travis Hall are still friends, 2 great guitar players. There's just, there's a lot of people that come through this band that thought they were going to jump in here and it was going to be, money and the big budget and the tour bus and the chicks and all the thing, but it's just this rock and roll is just that's not the case no more. It's just it's just about music these days, and so some people they didn't last, and so I'm probably not friends with them anyway. So I don't know. There's a couple of key members that I still am friends with. Yes.
Awesome.
Nice. No, definitely super cool for sure. Especially in, there's always going to be those reunion talks, especially as anniversaries start to hit.
Right.
For sure. Mr. Dreyer.
So, Rick, is there one band that you always wish you would have went out with?
Oh man, there's thousands.
That you would have shared the bill, and because
I would love to play with. I was really into Alice in Chains and Soundgarden and all that. Even though I was considered an '80s, whatever you want to call us, man, I just Alice in Chains was probably my favorite through that little time period.
Yeah.
But like right now, I would love to go out with I'm really into Hell Yeah. I just love I love the dude, the singer. I love the way he the way he writes and everything. But I just I'll go out with anybody, man. If you we've been practicing back here all this time off, so be on your guard. Have your chops up, because we're coming looking for bear, man. We're going to play.
So here's a two-parter on that. So with up north, they're doing a lot of these drive-in concerts. Have you guys considered doing anything like that?
Man, like I said, I'm open for everything. I think they tried to do one down here in Memphis, and it didn't go over very well. But I think as time goes on, that stuff will pick up, because it's going to be, until this thing is all over, it's just that's going to be one of the main ways I think stuff like this is going to happen.
Yeah.
It's just right now, you just I'll play in the bathroom at the daggone Exxon at the corner if that's I'll do it.
Get the chili dog off the wheel,
Right.
Hey Jay, you got a tail in your face.
I know. What can I say? I tracked all kinds of things. No, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, there's definitely been a whole lot of talk about what type of concerts would the fans really stand for these kind of concerts, and is that really any way to see live music? But I mean, I'm definitely willing to deal with a certain amount of annoyance to get live music back.
Right.
Absolutely, for sure. Angel, how's everybody doing, brother?
Oh, everybody's awesome. Bill Chavis says, I'll book the studio time. Let's go re-record them.
All right. Look at that. So you got it. You got it.
Very cool.
Hey, that guy, man, I can't say enough about that cat right there, dude, man. He really pulled me up when I was probably at my like I said, I put that little 5-song thing together, and I was scraping the bottom, it was it, music had pretty much died in America at that point in time. So, I love him.
So I have a question. Again, with some bands doing residencies, would you ever consider doing a residency in your hometown with maybe another one of the other bands?
Yeah, I would consider it, but I'd just rather go run across the country and be a fool and play.
Awesome.
Something like that could be kind of rad though, like a Memphis Strong type tour with EMN, Roxy, and Tora. I would go.
Yeah, it'd be a nice triple bill.
Yeah. We were talking.
I would sneak on the bus.
We were talking about doing it like a forget the Coven tour and just go out and do it. Just go out and just do things. And that's I would play with them guys. I've known all them guys forever, and we would have a good time, and it would do well. But I don't know. It would be nice to do it. It would be nice to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were talking. We were talking about doing it like a forget the Coven tour and just go out and do it. Just do things. And that's I would play with them guys. I've known all them guys forever, and we would have a good time, and it would do well. But there's consequences between our bands and a couple of those bands playing together, but I think we could overcome it, and make it work.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Would you, before I kick it over to Jason, would you care to elaborate, or would you like to just leave it as is? We don't want you to say anything that's going to get you in trouble, but.
I'll leave that one as is. It just, we all live in the same little town. We all crossed all paths a long time ago, so it's all good. It's all brotherly love.
Absolutely.
When you go up to your brother and punch him in the arm real hard.
Fair enough. Well, then, Jason, Pop, there you go, brother. It's all you.
So Rick, being out on the road, is there any like funny memories that you have that stuck with you all these years that you can talk about?
my favorite memory, we were playing at Hammerjacks, believe it or not, and this was the original band, and I used to just torment our old bass player Mark McMurtry. I love him to death, but I used to just torment the dude. And the one night we were playing at Hammerjacks, I think we were out with Jackal or somebody, and we were getting ready to go on stage, and I just seen he had his brand new Chuck Taylors. He just bought them, brand new black set of Chuck Taylors sitting there, and he hadn't put them on yet before we went on stage. And right before I walked out, I just filled them all the way up with shaving cream, man. And that was he was pretty pissed about that, but I just tickled the shit out of me. So that's the only thing that I can tell that's PG-13. I think.
Oh, you can tell anything on here.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Welcome to the World Wide Web.
Nah, man.
We're uncensored.
Tell us all about that girl that popped out of the bathroom on the bus, man.
No woman's here, man. You're gonna get me in trouble. We used to have the contest on the bus. It was the lighter dark. God, how do you say, the nipple contest? I guess that's what it was.
Oh yeah, areolas.
Yeah, there you go. And that's as far as I want to go on that one, man. I'm starting to get sweaty. Don't get me in trouble. I'm a Southern boy. I can't talk like that.
It was turning into a pretty hot episode.
All right.
Nipple wars.
You know what? That's not a bad question. How would
Rivers, man.
how would you win that contest?
Oh, they just had to be spectacular,
And nobody wants the silver dollars with nothing there,
Had the nice going away gifts, everything, We had stuffed animals, and it was good.
Oh, geez.
But what they did with the stuffed animals, really, no.
That was a whole different level. That was a whole nother contest right there.
Dude, I can't believe I'm throwing this out to Psycho Steve to reel us back in.
Wow.
Good luck.
Here. Wow. Okay. So, okay, after COVID's done, the album's out. What's next?
Man, just getting in front of as many people as possible. Hopefully, I'm trying to get overseas. I want to go. Every year that I've done a record, I've been supposed to go, and something's happened. And I just want to go do it one time, just to get over there and unleash a redneck over there in the UK just for 1 minute. Just for 1 minute is all I want.
Nice. Okay.
Nice, for sure. Bobby, how about you there, dude?
Have you guys ever went out with Blackstone Cherry or done anything with those guys?
No, I would love to. Like I said, when we started getting back in, we tried to. We had to start back at pretty much ground level. With the grind thing, we like I said, music was so far down before that, and we had been, just. I burned a lot of bridges when I was going through. I went through a lot of drugs, I guess. What you gonna say? I had my demons with the bad things and the things I shouldn't do. So by the time that I got to the 5-song EP, I was pretty much starting at ground zero. So I'm just any band that would let me share a stage, I would do. But I would, man, them guys are so incredible.
Fred and those guys.
I would just love to do an opening set, just to watch their set, just a couple of times, just to get around them and get around that kind of a vibe. But yeah, man, I'm up for anybody, but any band that's I think there's bands that do things, and then I think there's bands out there that are bands, and I just want to be associated with the real deal. I don't want to play with no more fake stuff no more. I just real deal bands and real deal people, man. And I hate to say that, but it's just what it got to after a while, I would much be out there with somebody that's so good that would make me want to try and bust my ass every day just to try to get better than go out there and just live off because I had a single that was cool or whatever.
I had the opportunity to meet those guys when they just started out. I was doing stuff with Peavy at Winter NAMM out in Anaheim, and when I first met them, I kept going, I don't know if these guys are going to take off. And then all of a sudden I seen them, and Fred, their drummer, his uncle, I guess, is in Kentucky Headhunters.
Yeah.
But, it's kind of really cool hearing you guys and hearing Tora and everything, that seems like a great vibe down south that, is really.
One of the best, I went out and did we did more than a handful of shows with the Kentucky Headhunters. And, that's like the craziest bill you'd never think would work. But the last one we did was this place called Skullbones. And, man, it was the craziest collection of people, but it was awesome. The Kentucky Headhunters and the drummer for the Kentucky Headhunters every time I see him, I just watch that dude because he's just incredible. He's like got this 220 electrical plugged into him, and he's just wide open. And but that was one of my favorite bands I've ever played with. I believe, just because we were so different, but we're Southern as all get out. So it worked.
Well, it usually creates a bond. I think Jason and I are probably the oldest ones here, but in the late 70s, there was a big thing here in Philadelphia called the Roundup, which they did, which was like Marshall Tucker, Molly Hatchet, Skinner. Could you picture you guys ever getting a collective group together of a lot of, not just metal bands, but some of the good Southern rockers and everybody getting together, 38 Special pulling like everything together and just.
Day one. I'm a Skynyrd fan from day one. I learned a lot from Skynyrd. I would love to get a collection of all that kind of people in one setting and play. That would be a beautiful thing.
Jay, I'm not like giving you any hints on this. You and Brad Lee about trying to do something, but
Well, he is tagged on one of the shares of this interview.
Okay, just saying, it could be like a little, and I'm not talking about, but I think it would be kind of cool trying to get this whole Southern vibe revival thing going. There's some good energy there.
Oh yeah, definitely, man, definitely.
Hey,
there's a lot of Southern bands coming up, man. I see them down here a lot. There's a lot of bands coming up that have been watching Skynyrd and all these bands we've been talking about, man. They're coming up, and it's going to be a whole new collection of really cool Southern things happening. That these kids down here playing slide guitar and stuff, phenomenal.
Well, didn't Matlock go back to doing Blackfoot now? Isn't Ricky Matlock doing Blackfoot?
He's managing them.
He is?
Yeah.
Well,
he does still play with them, but the main version of Blackfoot is pretty much headed up by their lead guitarist Tim Rossi.
Yeah.
So,
But, you know, I really could picture you're talking about doing things. Maybe this is something that you could, you know, just really kind of go outside the box and go, that this could be something different that nobody's done in years.
Right.
well,
You know,
well, Bobby, also on this note that we were just talking about, like, because Rick, we've talked about this a few times on various episodes. The one thing that COVID definitely set up was two very potential things. One, there's going to be, honestly, I think just this influx of really killer albums of various bands,
Yeah.
because these bands have really had the time where even if they are signed to a label, they don't really have that label breathing down their neck going like, dude, where's the new album? Where's the new album? Because the artists are just going to look at them and be like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm sitting on my ass because I'm not allowed to leave. So, like, there's going to be that.
This thing right here for us, I'll say, it gave us a lot of time to go in and work. You know, we worked on backups, and we've taken every aspect of what we do and really refined it and honed it in. And even as far as when we got done with the record, we've continued. You know, we're still practicing 3 nights a week because that's all we're allowed to do right now. So, and we just really got in, and I'm sure if anybody's in their right mind, all this downtime, they ought to be in there honing their shit and getting ready.
Yeah.
Because coming out, you know, everybody's going to come out loaded for bear and ready to go. And the weaker will fall and the strong shall survive. That's the way I see it.
Yeah. And plus, the other thing that you're really looking at that I think you're going to get a lot of too is you're going to get performances from bands that you have not seen in a while. Like, even the bands that always put on a good show, but were maybe just kind of used to performing a certain way, are probably really gonna amp it up. But also, the other thing that's really cool that I'll close this part out on this before I kick it up to Angel and the fans is you Bobby and you were just talking about, like, you know, these bands and this, not necessarily resurgence, but this quality of like Southern rock, especially in that Memphis scene. But also, when you look at just the last year, you've got yourselves, you've got Tora Tora, you've got Roxy Blue, who all put out a new album as far as kind of like the early, like, you know, godfathers to a certain degree of this particular scene. But then you also have some newer Memphis bands like Artifice, who are going to have or going to have an album of their own come out most likely in 2021. So you definitely have new music from both the old and the new right out of that Memphis scene that's looking really exciting and definitely something to watch.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Angel, take it away, bro.
Definitely.
I know about this getting created around here.
Yeah.
Zachary Lowe wants to know, which band did you learn the most from touring with?
Oh man, just about. I've learned a lot about everybody I've went out with. I really watch and see how they work their organization and work how they do stuff. I watch. I mean, I watch. I'm a people watcher. I watch everything and I try to soak up everything. So I got to say that I probably soaked up something from everybody that every band that I've been around. But I would have to say Cheap Trick probably taught me the most about, you know, what kind of level they're on and what kind of people they still are, you know, and how they do things. I would probably say they've taught me the most, you know, just watching and see how they operate and see how they're you know, because they've been around a long time. They could really be whatever they want to be, and they could treat you however they want to. But they seem like they take a lot of extra time to you know, treat everybody with some kind of dignity and respect, and that's kind of cool. That's what I'd like to try to I try to treat everybody with that until you prove me wrong, you know, and then then you get treated as how it comes.
Yeah.
I'd have to say Cheap Trick probably taught me the most, and most that I've seen anyway.
Nice.
Cool. My question is, some bands when they're working on an album, they'll just focus on the 12 songs that they have. Do you have outtakes that you have recorded from throughout the years in the vault somewhere that could see the light of day at some point?
I've got thousands of songs. The way this band is, we write a lot. We finished this record not too long ago, and we're already 5 deep in another. We've already got 5 new songs started just because we got all this extra time when we're rehearsing, we're doing the set, and then every night, somebody's noodling on something, and it automatically, that's my number one love is writing. When we start writing and it all starts clicking, that's just a beautiful thing. And like I said, we've got 3 that are really, I would say, more than halfway done, and probably 5 that we've started that we can, just sit here and play until we get to a spot where we're not real sure with. But man, we're all the time writing. I've got so many songs. I've got two. What do you call them? The little dry erase boards, humongous on the wall out there, and it's nothing but songs. I've got 2 or 3 acoustic albums written. I've just got songs everywhere. I've got briefcases still of cassette tapes of songs. I've got CDs. I've got songs everywhere. I mean, and then I've got hard drives of songs. When I started doing recording here at my house, I just started everything. Anytime that we're playing in the rehearsal room, I've got it on red just in case we stumble on. You never know what you stumble onto when you're just hacking around. So all the time, many songs, many songs for sale.
Well, funny you should say that, Rick, because before I kick it to Jason, I just have to ask this question based off Angel's question. Like, it's super common for artists to make also a good living off writing songs for other artists. Do you have any interest in that? Has that even been something you've tried to do already?
I've had a couple of people at one time. The record that we did a re-release on, Smoking Delta Voodoo. We had a couple of songs on there, and at one time, I can't remember actually the name of the band, but they were interested. I think it was I can't even think. Anyway, they were interested in a couple of songs, and I was they were wanting to know if they could buy them straight out or this and that, and I've had a couple of friends of mine that done the deal where they sell a song for $1,000, and then it generates many more thousand than that, and they're sitting there with $1,000. So I'm up for it, and I will do it, and I would love to do it. Just long as we're right on the situation on the money.
Yeah. Right on. No, absolutely, man. Fair enough. Jason?
How bad would you feel you sold a song to a cat for $1,000, and the next day it's sold a couple million copies, and you're sitting there with $1,000?
Oh, absolutely.
Made the wrong maneuver, man.
Oh, dude. How pissed would you be? Jason, it's all you, brother.
So, okay. Other than all of it, the process from the point that something, let's say, pops in your head that you want to turn into a song, all the way up to releasing it and performing it, what part of that process do you feel you're the most comfortable and enjoy the most?
I'll tell you what happens, and this is the biggest fight with my band is somebody will throw a riff out, or they'll start playing something, and in my head I hear it complete. They're just doing it good, but I hear everything, and I'm trying to blah, 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 and tell them what I'm hearing. But that's my most favorite thing is as they're catching on, like I said, I usually just have to sit down on the floor and tell them exactly where I'm at, and we just go through it like a little process. But the that's my favorite thing is when it just starts coming together all the way up until, you know, you watch it all the way to the end. You know, you just keep seeing this little picture or whatever you want to call it in my head when I hear a riff. And like breathe is probably the song that happened the best with me. That was probably the last thing that I'd written for this Resurrect the Faithful record. But it was the first thing I recorded because we were trying out a new studio and trying out a new producer and everything. So it really got to happen as I seen, you know, from the moment I sit down in the studio floor and was telling them where I'm at, and then watch it all go, and then turn it over to Dave Cowell, who produced it, to make sense of it. And then that just that whole process, I can't even tell you what part is the actual best part of that, but the whole process of twisting from this one note all the way out to the end, it's just very I don't know, it's just a beautiful thing to me, just watching it and being a part of it, and being somebody that's, you know, God gave me the little gift of writing songs. He gave me also the gift of dyslexia, like a son of a bitch. I can't and hardly write. So it's just a beautiful process, a beautiful thing. The whole effort from start to finish is my favorite thing. And then somebody actually getting it and coming up to you and going, man, that's, you know, that done this for me or that, you know. And I probably resaid that 300 times, but that's the only way I can explain it. Is just the songwriting process in general is what keeps me alive, I think. So keeps me from killing people.
Speaking of killing people, what a beautiful segment into our own Psycho.
Right.
So the question is, Rick, was vocal your first instrument?
Drums.
Drum.
Really?
My uncle was a drummer. He played in a bunch of bands overseas. He was a traditional drummer, though, you know. But he got me playing drums, and then for some reason I picked up I wanted to play guitar, so I told my mom, I said, take me down to there's a place called Pick and Grin as guitar store, and I just went in. All I wanted to do, I said, I don't want to know anything other than how to tune it, because I don't want any kind of boxes or any kind of places that keeps me in any kind. I just want to know how to get it in tune, and then I will figure out the rest later. And that I started playing guitar. I still play guitar. I got a guy that makes me guitars from American Outlaws Guitars, and he makes these incredible. They're J5 Telecaster neck through bodies, and
Wow.
he makes me some pretty cool stuff. And I love guitar. I play guitar every single day. So that's my main love. Singing was I joined this group, and I was playing rhythm guitar, and one day they asked me to come back and sing, and I said, okay. I jumped in and done it. And we were in a double wide trailer way up in the hills of Tennessee, and there was like 350 people there. And I was like, this is pretty cool. But, you know, that kind of kicked me right back to the whole Cooper thing, you know, telling the story, coming up with the thing, and seeing what you see, and doing it from your gut, and just doing it real as possible. If that makes any sense.
Oh yeah, that's man. For sure. Bobby, how about you, bro?
Now you got me intrigued. I just jumped onto the website to this American Outlaw Guitars. Can you elaborate on them a little bit? And, you know, we'll try to give him a little bit of, you know.
Man, I mean, he's like me. He makes real things. He makes, it takes him a minute, but he does them. They're all a little different. He just makes cool guitars. It's the only, only neck through telly bot that I've ever seen or played. You know, I'm sure they're probably out there, but he just makes cool guitars, man. They just feel right to me. They're all, you know, custom. He does them. They're all, you never know exactly what you're going to get, but when he, you know, the first one I got, I was like, man, I just loved it. You know, it looks just like it almost looks like the desk of the School's Out Alice Cooper record, you know. And I didn't even know him enough to tell him that, but it was just that, and he's made me you know, an Explorer and a Les Paul and 4 or 5 J5s, and I just love him, man. He's a great dude. He's just a poor boy like me. Just makes guitars. He don't do them for a whole lot of people, and they sound great. He's got this one guy that winds his own pickups and does his own things. He's made Bill Chavis a couple. They're just cool, man. You just have to hold one and play it for a guitar player. I see all of them behind you.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I'm in my studio.
You know, when you pick up a guitar and it just feels good, even though if it is, you know, you couldn't go down and buy it, because he'll do things like, you know, he knows I like my stuff a little different. So some of my guitars, he said, just to get where you are, I just went by one day and just scratched it, and I was like, yeah. I mean, I don't want nothing pristine and beautiful. I want it to feel, when I put it in my hand, I just want it to, it's like my car. When I start it up, I know if I put it to the floor, it's going to go. That's it.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of his Flying V's and his, you know, he's doing Firebirds and everything, you know, his body shape. Definitely old school dude.
I'm going to show you something. Hang on.
All right. Gear.
This is part of our show.
That's so badass.
Gear
on it.
Wow.
Cool color too.
That's it at his house, and he was making it. And one day I came by there and I was like, man, is that mine? It's got my name on it. and he ended up saying, man, just take it, because he didn't know what he was going to do with it. But it's just one of those guitars. I can pick up 10 of them, but you pick up one.
Yeah.
And you know, it just feels right, you know. And that's all I can say about him. He's just enough like me where he, you know, he's a real cat. And when he's making something, we're friends enough now. When I go over and he's making something, I say, man, that's junk, man. You ain't making stuff like that. I said, you make meat guitars. You make meat and taters guitars. So that's what you do. And so I love him, and I bust his ass like that. So.
Well, I noticed that I'm looking at one of the pictures of his stuff on Facebook. So you got like a telly on your lap that kind of looks a little like a Franken telly. It's a black and yellow striped telly.
Oh, that was something he built, and I don't know why, but he built that right before Eddie died, and he built it a couple of months before then. But I don't know why he built it. He built that, and he goes, I want it to be like the, you know, one with the yellow tape on it, and he made it, and it played great. But and I think he ended up selling it.
Well,
and I don't know why I sold it, because I was like, man, I ought to kill you for selling it.
Well, we'll definitely put up, you know, a tag on him on the website, because I'm really digging his logo and everything else. I'm glad you had to, you know, sharing that, because we got a lot of musicians who follow us.
Rick, tell him to talk to us, baby.
I'll do it.
Absolutely, for sure. Angel, why don't you take it away, brother? How are the Summoners doing?
Oh, awesome. Got four fan questions and comments. Let me go to Brandon Watson. Is there anyone or any band you would like to collaborate with on a new song or do guest vocals for?
Man, I don't know if anybody would want me to do any guest. Well, I'm not really a singer. I'm just a bitcher of things that happen. Like I said, I was never a singer. I just got up and started doing it mainly, you know, because I got the opportunity and nobody else would do it when I was trying to put bands together. So, I'm up for anything, but I don't think, I don't think I was going to help anybody's song by putting my voice on it. But I would love to write with people. I mean, I wrote with Damon Johnson. I wrote with a ton of people. So, I love writing. That's one of my favorite things in the world. So
I got a question from Bruce. He wants to know, Rick, ever perform with or hang out with Rhino Bucket?
Rhino Bucket, no, but I would enjoy the chance to go hang out or play with.
Scott Carson wants to know, how did Loco Crazy come about?
Loco Crazy came about. I kept saying this. We were doing this riff, and I kept going. And I know it's just crazy, but I don't know. I just started singing it, and it's the song's kind of about being, being an American and being, standing up a little bit for what we are and what we're made of, and when people try to take that away from us, I just considered that would be the move of Loco Crazy, because we will kick your ass, So that's the mindset that I was at when I started messing with the song,
Cheryl Wright just wanted to say, the show you did in Kansas City with Ron Keel Band was awesome. Love your new song, Breathe. Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, that was cool. That was the first time I got to play with Ron. I've known him forever. I've done his talk show, but we got to do a show not long ago, and that was very, very cool. And we got to break out some new songs. That's the first time we got to play out since all this stuff went down. So we were on 9, man. We were rolling.
My question is, does the band have anything that they do to get ready for a show?
We're always ready for a show, man. We probably the only thing that's crazy that I do is I pace my bus driver Brad. He'll stand at the end of the thing, and I pace back and forth. That's what I do before a show: pace, and we have conversations. Every third line, I'll stop and talk to him for a minute, and then I'll pace 3. So we do the normal things. We just hang out and think Bone and Troy drink a little beer, and I can't say we partake, and we get our mind free, and we go be. That's it.
That's awesome. Right on. Mr. Perlsweig, I think it's you, my friend.
So, Rick, earlier on, you mentioned that you also played drums. Do you, or have played drums? Do you still play drums? And can you sing while playing?
Man, I can't multitask for crap, man, on hardly anything. So I usually do one or the other. Every once in a while, I do a lot of playing and guitar and singing, but no, man, that right there would be there's too many things happening at once. Can't do. I can mumble and I can holler stuff out, but no. I tried to show Bone something I was not trying to show him a beat by any means, that I was just showing him something that was in my head one night, and I got behind this kid and it's been so long since I really sat down and played that I can throw a beat, and I can probably make my way through a couple of songs, but man, I gave that up. Them guys that do that. Alan plays. He sings great harmonies. Man, that's just that's a whole different beast. Somebody that plays drums and can do anything else besides play drums. More power to you. I'm not wired that way.
Right on. No, for sure. So, Rick, as it's getting around towards that quarter to the hour, we're kind of setting it up to kind of hit you with one more final go around the table. Are you down for us for another couple minutes?
Sure.
Sweetness, for sure. The question that I kind of wanted to ask you is going back to when the band kind of came out in the early 90s with your first couple of records, and being that you guys are often considered to be kind of part of that era, but you're a rock and roll band, a Southern rock band through and through. But you also came out more solidly with your albums when grunge was really kind of putting the boots to the glam stuff.
Right.
Did you find that the grunge stuff like hurt you at all like it did the other bands, or were you able to kind of roll with it because you weren't really overly glammy?
Well, here's what I saw. When we were out on the road, we were watching on our second record, we were watching grunge come in, man. Everywhere we were playing with, we had somebody out opening the shows, but we were, there's all the time local bands. So we seen it. It was coming in, we watched it come in. And that's what we were trying to convey to the label, when we were writing songs and sending them songs, all they were thinking about was Love Can Make You Blind. And that was what it was, and good. And I love it for what it was. But what was coming in was a darker and more real street music. And that's where we were headed. But it was, the record label back then, all record labels, you were pigeonholed into this daggone, you had to be this way, into this box, and that ain't music to me in this friggin' box. That's just, we saw that coming in, and we rolled with it. That's, we got dropped, and but that was probably the best thing to happen, because I would have never tried to force another record from that era in while all that shit was coming, because it would have made it look stupider than it was. And music, that I hate to say it, but that era of music, it got really, it just got washed. They were just signing bands, and I was one of them. I hadn't had no shows. We looked good. We had a little song, and we just got thrown out there, and we didn't have the chops to back it up. And I would never try to do that while that was coming in, because that was the real deal. That was the shit, the street. That was, Kurt and all them guys. Them guys were living rock and roll the way it was supposed to be. To me, live it, play it, eat it, and cram it down somebody's throat until they buy it or whatever. And so, best thing that happened to me was getting dropped and having to go learn and see how the machine works, and then get my shit together, and then start coming back and with what I learned, and still learning to this day. But I just rolled with. I embraced, like I said, all the grunge things, because Alice in Chains is one of my favorite things that ever happened. Just that type of singer, that type of guitar player, band. And I throw a little bit of that. There's definitely a little bit of that on our new record, and I take. I'm glad that I got to, see that and got to visit that. I'm glad that got in front of me, so I got to see it. If that makes sense. That's all I can say is that's. I went with it and learned from it, and I got more bullets in my belt because of it. So,
no, for sure. And then just as one other final point with that kind of question that I was kind of thinking about, because you were talking about how the record labels really wanted to push bands into a certain type of box and stuff like that, and when you had other bands that were coming out of the 80s that were also very successful, one of the things I found kind of interesting was like when you guys put out a single like House of Pain, where you also had another popular band around that time in Faster Pussycat that also had a successful single called House of Pain.
Right.
Did those ever clash in any way? I know you're two different kind of sounding bands, but do the record labels, from your experience, ever take that kind of stuff into consideration? Be like, well, we're kind of digging your song House of Pain for the single because these guys had a single with that and it had success.
It was so washed up. It was so washy then. I wouldn't doubt that. I was like I said, I like to follow music, but I try to really I try to stay. I listen to a lot, and I listened to a lot of Faster Pussycat back in the day. So, and that might have happened subconsciously my way or their. My song was I was trying to kick the old habit of the old white powder. So that's what my House of Pain was. I was got caught up in some shit that I didn't need to get caught up with, and my House of Pain was a different House of Pain.
Sure, for sure.
It's a whole different cross to bear, that one.
Absolutely, brother. No, I totally get it. Psycho Steve, it's all you, brother.
So we talked about, you just kind of briefly talked about addiction and everything like that. However, on the road, you get a guarantee, you have a rider. Is there any specific thing you need to have on the rider or you won't play a show?
No, we're not that way. I think we ask for the only thing that we really ask for these days is I think we get a bottle of Jack Daniels just because we like to sip on whiskey when we wind down. But you know, throw us a couple beers and some Cokes and a little sandwich tray. We're there, man. We're in.
Done.
Yeah, a little bit of food, a little bit of drink. We're good.
All right.
Awesome.
Right on. I will definitely. I'll keep that in mind with Brad to keep you and Bill happy.
We want a hoagie sandwich at least.
Exactly, for sure. Oh, come on! You're gonna say hoagie when you had an album called Grind, and you weren't gonna say a grinder.
Grinder. Well, I got a guitar called a grinder.
There you go, Bobby.
All right. So if you could be any animal, what would it be?
Oh man, I would have to be probably a raccoon. Probably. They got little nimbly hands and they get into a little bit of everything.
That's awesome.
Just gotta throw those kind of
That
questions.
was uncalled for, right?
Nah, dude, that was amazing.
Back to you, Jay.
No, you're fine, buddy. No worries. Angel, I'm gonna jump you to Jason right quick, just so I can bring it around at the end to you and the fans. So, Jason, it's all you, brother.
So, let's see. What would you say is your best location for playing, like around the world? Like, what was your most what place do you like to play at the most?
Man, just about anywhere there's more than 10 people in front of the stage.
Or maybe let me narrow it down. Country. Which country other than the U.S.?
Oh, well, that's hard to say. I haven't got to go anywhere. They won't let me out of here.
It just gets harder.
Right? I would love to go. Man, I don't know how to say it. I would love to go play anywhere. But like I said, until they let me out where I can go do that, then I'm just stuck here in the USA. But there's no better place to play than, right here. I used to love playing the old Hammerjack stuff. If you want to know the truth, that place was just phenomenal, man.
Yeah, buddy. Absolutely. They're working on it. There's talks of it coming back. I mean, I'm a positive thinker and I look forward to it, but I'm a realist too. I'll believe it when I see it.
Right. They asked us a long time ago about if we would play when they reopened, and we were like, yeah, man, anytime, just let us know.
Right on, man. Absolutely. Mr. Alamo, do we have anything coming from the Summoners or anything for yourself?
Yes, question for myself and a question from a fan. The very last fan question comes from Brandon. What song from any album would you really like to play live that you've never played live before? Damn, awesome question.
Man, I've played them all, but I think probably one of the songs that I really liked playing live from the old band was probably Already Gone, just because of the the song and the music was written before for Steve Malone, one of his friends that had passed away. So that song, he really played his butt off on it, and just at the time, that song just really live wise, it just always had a really a certain feel, make your heart feel good, and that's probably the one. If I went back and had to play one song again. If that was my last song I got to play, I'd probably play that. Just,
we got Zachary Lowe that came back and asked a question. So I definitely, again, because we appreciate you watching, we appreciate your service. We definitely want to do this for you. His question is, what Alex in Chains song would you like to cover?
any of them, man. That's any of them. I love all things Chains. So I'm good with any.
And here's my question, and just want to go way back. What is the first album that you ever bought, and what made you want to buy that album?
First album I ever bought with my own money would have to be, I would have to say it would be Diary of Madman Ozzy, because my friend had Blizzard, and this I kept hearing this. Like I said, this was back before you could see anything. So I just your magazines and whatever, and I went to the record store and saved up my money and bought that record and went home and learned it and loved it. And one of my friends, Annie Krakauer, ended up working for him for a long time for being his wardrobe lady. And so that's probably my first one I paid for my own money out of, and got and learned and lived and loved. That's not a bad record to start off with, Brian, I don't guess.
Oh man, that's a great first album.
My mom bought me all kind of records. You want to go back through there? I had I had Neil Sedaka, you name it, baby.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of records, though, we got to put this one right onto you real quick, Rick. So you've got, again, this Friday, Resurrect the Faithful coming out, but let people know where they can find you. Like, where can they find you? Every Mother's Nightmare. Where can they buy some of these bundles that we talked about?
You can find anything EMN on emnrocks.com, or you can go to High Vol Music and you can find anything there. That's the spots, man. It's all coming. It's all there, and it's all new.
Right on, man. Absolutely. Well, Rick, man, we got to say thank you, dude. This has been a great time, man. We really had a good time talking to you. What always matters to us, dude, is how you felt about it. Did you have a good time? Did you feel respected? And were you happy that you spent your evening with us?
Yes, this is a first for me, so I had a good time. You guys are all, y'all are all thumbs up. Now that when I see y'all, I have to kiss y'all on the jaw. I kiss everybody that I love. So.
Hey, absolutely, man.
I won't spread no coating on you, but...
It's all right, man. We're happy to spread the love, man, and we look forward to it. It's been a little while since you and I got to hang outside some BLE events, man. So I definitely look forward to seeing to you.
Thank you, guys, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. We also want to say a big thank you to Bill Chavis and High Vol Music as well. So thank you so much, Bill. We appreciate you, brother. Absolutely. And of course, so much love, so many hearts flying out to the Metal Summoners, the fans of this show. We do this for you. We have a great time doing it, so we can bring more great guests to you, just like Rick. So we got a new guest announcement coming out later this week, everybody. So please stay tuned. That'll come out for you. But thanks again for tuning in to another episode of the Metal Summit, your island of misfit toys and the only place you need to be on Wednesday nights. So again, for Psycho Steve, for Bobby Dreyer, for Jason Pearlswhite, Angel Alamo, I'm Jay. And again, a big thank you to Every Mother's Nightmare, Mr. Rick Ruhl. We are the Metal Summit, and this is where you need to always be.